All right, great patriots, welcome to another President Trump live stream. President Trump is in Atlanta, Georgia today to deliver a speech on Black economic empowerment. So you can call it Black economic empowerment, African American empowerment, economic empowerment, however you want to say it. But President Trump is set to deliver his speech very soon. He is traveling to so many. He's traveling to so many different states today. It's just crazy. He was in Florida. Now he's in Atlanta. And then after that, let's see. He's going back to Florida to do a roundtable with supporters. Yeah, that event is closed press, which means no media allowed. So he went from Atlanta to now Georgia, and now he's going to Virginia later on today, but he's going back to Florida before that. I don't know. I really do not know how the president does it. That is crazy. 3 different states, 4 different locations in one day. One day. That is nuts. But President Trump should be coming out very soon to deliver his speech on Black economic empowerment from Atlanta, from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be switching over to the venue in just a few moments. So make sure you guys please share the live stream on social media.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but he was supposed to be the future. I don't want to fight with him. Where is he? Where is he? Stand up, Jorge. Stand up. There he is. That's a fastest knockout. I watched this. He was fighting this young superstar. He's going to be great, right? They would tell me how great he is. Man, I mean, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but he was supposed to be the future of the UFC, but he had to go through this guy right here. Didn't work out too well, did it, Jorge? What a champion you are. Thank you. And that was the fastest. What was it, like about a second? It's 2 seconds. You ran across the ring, and the guy was gone, and that was the end of it. Did they have to pay you for that evening or not? Because, 1 second is not. That's a good return. Great to have you. Big fan. Thank you, man. Thanks. Great. So I'm thrilled to be back at Doral. I never knew I was going to even see it again. This is nice. I bought it before I became president, and I had no intention of being president. I was enjoying my life. I had a great life, like Jorge has. Just keep winning, though, Jorge. It's important, right? But I will say, and then I said, let's do this. And I said, I have all these great places. I don't know if I'll ever see him again, but we have these beautiful ballrooms, and it works out well. It can even hold all of that media back there. That's a lot of people this early in the morning. But it's about Hispanics and the relationship that we have. We have incredible relationships. And you've seen the polls. The polls are having me up over a Democrat, which is, I think, unheard of. And it should really, I don't think it's going to be unheard of anymore. What we're doing. Thank you. And we recently were in Arizona. We got a reception like it was incredible. But literally, I mean, we are doing better than the opposition. Now, the opposition has not been good to Hispanics at all. He's been very bad to Hispanics. And we'll go into that, and we'll do some questions later. We'll have a little fun. But I'm very happy to be back at Doral. It's great. It's a good location, right?
Yes,
very
sir.
good
Excellent.
location. And at least I see my property, even if for just a short period of time. But I really appreciate you all being here, and you're all champions. They're all champions, Jorge. These are great people. In Arizona, I was with a man, you know him, owner of the Los Angeles Angels, and he's done such a fantastic job. He's been so nice, and I didn't recognize him. And then I said, "Haven't I seen you in sports?" "Oh, the Angels." And he stood up. He made just a very inspiring speech, and he's done such a great job and I guess from Mexico, right? He's from Mexico. What a job he's done with the team. He signed Albert Pujols. He's got Trout, I guess, who's considered, I don't get to watch too much baseball anymore, unfortunately, but he's considered the best player in baseball. And so it's really the success of the Hispanics. They call them Latinos sometimes, Hispanics sometimes, and sometimes you can call them both. They don't really care, I figure. After about 5 years, I figured out that they don't really care. Just call us one of those two and we're okay. But the success has been incredible. Great business people. But I'm thrilled to be back at Doral with so many patriotic Americans who are part of our extraordinary national movement, and that's Latinos for Trump. And we're joined by Republican Party Chair Joe Gruters. Where's Joe? Joe. Thank you, Joe. Great job. How are we doing? Well, they had a poll that I never did well in. It's the ABC Washington Post poll. They had me down 4 years ago, 12 points with like a week and a half to go. And we complained, and then by the election, they had me almost even. And I said, that was quick. We complained very loudly, right? But I've never done well in that poll, and they have us up 4 in Florida. But it seems to be going well from what I hear, huh? That's great. Yeah, it should be going well. If you don't do a good job, you will be fired so fast your head will. Yeah, I think we're going to win it big. Yeah, I know. It just feels it really good. But Hispanic Americans have been incredible. We have one right here that he gave a very inspiring speech. Where's Max? Max Alvarez. It really is. He gave a very inspiring speech. He gave a couple of them, actually. I've been to a couple of them, and he really took the house down at the Republican National Convention, but really at the round table a few weeks ago. You were at the round table, right? We were with all those great people. But I want to thank you. He's a tremendous success. In fact, they used to say he's the richest Hispanic in Florida. I don't know if that's true or not. But he started off with $2, and I know he's rich as hell, so that's okay. But Max Alvarez, thank you very much, Max. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hispanic Americans enrich our nation beyond measure. Look at them. Look at what a job. Hispanic Americans enrich our nation beyond measure. They champion our shared values and embody the American dream. That's what it is. I mean, this guy was a fighter on the street. He used to beat up people. You know, your route is much different. Most of these people, I know your story. Actually, for what you do, it's sort of cool. You know, for other people, it wouldn't be so good. But he used to beat up people, and somebody said, hey, come on to the gym. Let's see if you're so good. And then he goes into the gym, and guys that were fighting for a long time, he beat the hell out of them. They said, I think he's going to be a good fighter, and they were right. But these are all different stories, right? All different stories. Whatever, you know, whatever it takes, Jorge, right? Whatever it takes. But Joe Biden has spent 47 years selling out to the, you know, different interests in Washington. It's really sad. He sold out the Hispanic American community, sending you jobs to China, making your communities less safe, attacking your religious values, and trapping countless children in failing government schools. He doesn't like charter schools. He doesn't like choice. And choice is a very important thing for education, but he can't do that. It's just against the radical left. The radical left can't have it. And you know about the radical left almost more than any people you know about the radical left. You've gotten some pretty, right? You've gotten big examples, and you're not going to be there. And I think that's one of the reasons we're doing so well with Hispanics. Joe Biden betrayed Hispanic Americans, and I'm fighting for you, and we're fighting like never before. We can't let this anything happen. I think this will go down, and I think right now people are saying it's the most important election in the history of our country, because they are stone cold crazy what they'll do to our country. You see it on the streets. You see it with the riots all the time. And we don't have that in Republican states and cities. You don't have that. This is endemic to the Democrats. And no bail, no this, no that, weakness all over the place, and they take advantage, and that's the way it is. And it's a very sad thing. We went into Minneapolis, we saved it, we went in, they knew we were coming into Seattle, we were going in the next day, and they just raised up their hand and they left. But this is after weeks and weeks. We have to be asked by the governors, which in all cases are Democrats, in all cases. Top 10 cities, Democrat for danger. Look at what's going on in Chicago. You look at what's happened in New York now in a short period of time. I love New York, and you look at what they've done, the Democrats, what they've done to destroy it. They have some categories of crime up 160%. One was up 300%. This all happened in a short period of time. We want to draft Rudy Giuliani. Let's draft Rudy. Yeah. But he betrayed the Hispanic Americans. Prior to the China virus, the plague that came in from China, we achieved the lowest Hispanic American unemployment rate in the history of our country. You know that? It was 6 months ago. We're building it up again. You know, make America great again. We say now, make America great again. Make America great again, because we did it. Now I have to do it again. I thought that was done. I thought this was going to be easy. This was going to be a very easy election. I still think it is. I think there's a spirit out there that I've never seen, even far beyond what it was 4 years ago. It's incredible. You know, I'm sure you see it. More than 1.5 million Hispanic Americans were lifted out of poverty during this short period of time. Think of that, 1.5 million lifted out of poverty. That's a record. Hispanic American home ownership and household income reached all-time highs, records, all records. Everything was a record. And if you look at the numbers, if you look at what's happening, it's happening again. We're in a V. It's going to be very big. Third quarter numbers will be announced before the election, and I think they're going to be tremendously. They're going to be great. They're going to be great. I think that GDP is going to be. I mean, estimates are from. I heard one from 23% to 35%, and any one of them would be an all-time record worldwide. So, but that's what the predictions are. Let's see what it is, but it'll come out 2 days, 3 days before the election, which I'm very happy about. We built the greatest economy in history, and now we're doing it again. In the past 4 months, we added 3.3 million Hispanic American jobs. That's a record also. A lot of records. Joe Biden would terminate our recovery with a crippling nationwide shutdown and a $4 trillion tax hike. He's looking to raise your taxes very substantially, Max. I'm not sure if you like that. He'll have to close a few of the gas stations, maybe, you know. He'll only have 200 instead of 204. But you don't want to hear about tax hikes, right? Because it'll crush your whole everything that we've built. You can't do it. And they're looking for the biggest tax hike in the history of our country. He'll lay waste to Florida's economy, just like he ruined Puerto Rico's economy in the Senate. In 1996, Biden voted for a tax bill that obliterated Puerto Rico's thriving pharmaceutical industry and sent thousands. That was Joe Biden that did that. I didn't do it. Joe Biden did that. Sleepy Joe, he's a sleepy guy. And sent thousands of jobs to China. A lot of those jobs went to China. That's what happened. They took it out of, they ended the tax bill. You're nodding and you understand exactly. They just cut it. And that was Biden and his friends. I will reverse Biden's catastrophic decision, and we'll bring those jobs back to Puerto Rico. It's going to be happening. I mean, honestly, Puerto Rico, because you've seen what happens. It's it's a little bit like habit. They vote for Democrats, but it's a mistake, and it's changed with most Hispanics. You know, we had. I just got the Bay of Pigs Award, and I've gotten it twice now. And I got the total endorsement of the Cuban population. As you know, they were up 2 days ago in the White House, and they gave us the endorsement. So we're doing great with that. But we also announced for Puerto Rico $13 billion in historic disaster relief funds. $13 billion. So this is done by Trump. This is not done by the Democrats, but you have to explain that, and especially to those in the Puerto Rican community living in Florida. We have to explain that to them, because this is, if I don't get elected, you're not doing anything with the pharmaceuticals again. They haven't even talked about it. They haven't thought about it. So you'll explain that. Biden opposes school choice. He vows to ban charter schools, and he opposes Florida's tax credit scholarship program, which is a big deal. In a second term, I'll provide school choice to every family in America. We'll have unlimited school choice. It's already happening. Many Latino and Hispanic Americans came here to pursue the American dream, having left countries that they just felt was very, very unsafe. And you know, it's a very similar ideology, okay? If you look at Venezuela, you look at what's going on there, and you'll see some interesting things happening there. You look at that, and you look at what's going on in other countries. Some of you are from those other countries, and you got lucky to get out. But it's the same kind of thing that you'd see happen here. I'll tell you what, I'm like a wall. You know, we're building the wall on the southern border. It's almost complete. But I'm like a wall between the American dream. I'll say this because it sounds nice, but it's true. I think Max would agree with it. Between the American dream, I'm a wall. Between the American dream and chaos and a horror show. It would be very bad. It would be very bad. Many Latino and Hispanic Americans came here to pursue the American dream, having left countries that really had a very, very unruly group of people. You know, we're throwing out MS-13 all the time. The only one's not afraid is that guy right there. He wouldn't be afraid of MS-13. He's the only guy in the room. But they're rough, they're bad, and they're bad people. He's a great person, they're bad people. And we throw thousands and thousands out of our country. And if we didn't have ICE and these people, you would be living in real fear and real problems. And you know, the funny thing about the southern border, the wall, safety, The people that understand the border better than anybody are the Hispanics. I have had more support when we build a wall, because they don't want bad people coming into our country. They don't want people coming into the country that are going to take their jobs. And they understand it better. And I always thought it would be the opposite in a way. They understand what we've done on the border. We have stopped it. And you can come into the country, but you have to come in legally. It's an incredible thing that's taken place over the last couple of years. So Biden's a weak guy, I think. We have a debate coming up. It'll be interesting. It's like going into a match, same kind of thing, a little bit less physical, slightly. But it's, it's to win matches, you need that up here. I don't care how tough you are. I see him all. He has guys that are so strong, you can't even believe it. But this wins probably, it's 50% of it. But I don't know, what percentage would you say? Well, you got to have this too. But the head is what? What's the percent? 80? Okay, I'll go with 80. That's a lot. It's a lot. But it's true. I've seen it. You have guys that you know that if they had the right up here, they would be unbeatable. Is that right? Unbeatable. But it's great that it's that way, isn't it? It's really great. Vice President, when he was Vice President, he met with Venezuelan dictator Maduro and showered him. Well, that seemed to hit the right. But Biden met with Maduro. He showered him with compliments, imposed the toughest ever sanctions for, and just really what he's done to us is just incredible. He's taken everything. I put sanctions on the likes of which they've never seen. And I'll tell you what, whether it's Iran or whether it's Venezuela, and they already want to talk. Everybody wants to talk, but they want to wait. I want to wait till after the election because I say wait. And a year ago, I said, you have a choice. We can talk now or we can talk after the election, but after the election, it's going to be a much tougher deal. And where do you say? And Cuba's doing very, very badly. Cuba's doing very badly. That island is, they want to do something, but I'm not doing anything unless I speak with my friends that came up to the White House because they know exactly what they want to do. You have to have freedom. You have to have freedom, and we're going to do that. So we're in a very good position. But Biden met with Maduro, and it was all just lovey-dovey, and nothing happened. And I imposed the toughest sanctions ever imposed in Latin America. As Senator Biden voted 5 times to cut funding to freedom fighters in Nicaragua. Anybody here involved with Nicaragua? Yes. And he protected the Ortega regime, and we've sanctioned them, and it's done a real, I'll tell you what, we have done a real job. All of these countries are going to come. We're going to make wonderful deals, but we have to wait till after the election. I told them, I said, no, I want to wait. I want to wait. Now, their dream, whether it's China, Russia, do you see the stuff that just came out on Russia? So we caught them cold, Max. We caught them cold. It was a whole conspiracy, and it was the worst thing anyone's ever seen, and it was a takedown, and we caught them cold. It was all the opposite. They were the ones conspired. They got caught. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. We went through 3 years of crap. Let's see what happens now. They got caught. Did you see where they were buying insurance policies because they were afraid they were going to get caught? So they were buying insurance policies, FBI agents, buying insurance policies for themselves because they were starting to think, this is really bad. We're going to get caught. I mean, it's not even believable. And there's more coming out. There's more coming out. It's getting deeper and worse and worse. And it was spying on the campaign, but that was the beginning. Then it was a coup. And, you never think of this country as a coup. You think of certain South American countries for coup, but we have them cold. I mean, it's an amazing thing that happened. And if the fake news would actually report it properly, it would be incredible. But they don't even have to report it, although I have to tell you, CBS did an incredible piece last night. That was an incredible piece. So, but we got them, we caught them, and it's a terrible thing for our country, and it was so dishonest. And it was the exact opposite It was the exact opposite. And they did deal with Russia. In fact, if you look at it, Joe Biden's son, Where's Hunter, right? His official name is Where's Hunter. He got $3.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow. Think of that, $3.5 million. He got his son got $3.5 million and he had nothing until Joe became vice president. He goes, why? Why? We're still trying to figure that one out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure. You must be from Cuba. Why? But we'll figure it out. We're gonna get it. But no, it's a big story. It's a tremendous story. And on the internet, it's the biggest thing. It's taken over the internet. Nobody can even believe it. It would be great if the lamestream media would do something about it. But they tend not to. But I want to commend Catherine Herridge of CBS. She did an incredible piece on this, and she can't believe it. The last administration also surrendered to the narco-terrorists of Colombia. Anybody from Colombia? Well, you know what's going on there, right? You know what's going on there. Joe Biden even received the endorsement of Colombian socialist Gustavo Petro. Not good, right? Not a good endorsement. A former member of M19 guerrilla organization, right? No good, right? Good, he knows. Under my administration, we work with our Colombian partners to stabilize the region, which we've largely done, and launched a historic naval operation against the drug traffickers, and have taken in tons and tons of really bad stuff. The Obama-Biden administration's horrendous Cuba policy betrayed the Cuban people and enriched Castro's regime. I ended that, and as you know, we ended it very strongly. We ended it. And we stand with every citizen of Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela in their fight for freedom. You know, this location is called Little Venezuela. Did you know that? There's so many Venezuelans, and they love me because I did a great job with this place. They liked me before I ran. This is Little Venezuela. It's a tremendous Venezuela population in the Doral section of Miami. And they have, you know, if you put up a house for sale, they say if it takes more than 2 days to sell, you're doing something wrong. That's how good. No, it's true. It's just like a really incredible piece. It's just a great location and incredible neighbors, incredible people. And I've gotten to know them really well because of this, and they're great. And it's going to work out very well. You watch. You watch. So we've achieved more. I've achieved more for the Hispanic Americans. And think of it. I've achieved more for Hispanic Americans in 47 months than Joe Biden has achieved in 47 years. He's been in there 47 years. I've done it for 47 months. 47 months, and just, it's amazing, 47, but he's been doing it for 47 years. You know, I always get a kick. I see him, well, we should do this, and we should do that. I said, you've been doing this for 47 years. And now you're going to do it? And he's not exactly prime time, a little like a fighter. Someday I'm going to say, you know, you got to take it easy now a little bit. Right now is prime time, but there'll be a time, it happens. This is not prime time for Joe. He never had too much of a prime time. But I will say this, 47 months and 47 years, it's true, we've done more. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go around the table a little bit, say a few words. Maybe we can take some questions from the audience if we can. We'll do it fast. If we go fast, we can take a couple of questions from them. And it's really great to be here with you. It's just a really, and I appreciate your support. Great to be with you. Okay? Why don't we start right there? Go ahead. We'll go fast and we'll take a couple of questions out. We'll get one from Max.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning. Hi.
I'm usually a construction guy. You never see me wearing a suit like this.
I know that. That's true.
Actually, true story. I just bought it 2 days ago, so hope it looks good. My name is Santiago Zuleta. I own a small construction firm in Central Florida. We do concrete work, sidewalks, walls for highways, bridges, county work, city work. And I mean, really having a company has always been the dream of my life, especially given my background. So I was born in Colombia in the early 80s, where the violence, it was a terrible time. I actually lost my father at the age of 7 to the violence. And my mother was a single mother at the time with a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old to support us. She did an amazing job. Luckily, we had the great opportunity to come to the United States when I was 15. And my brother was 13 years old. We moved to the United States. And out of all the places in the United States that a Latino family, not speaking English, not knowing the culture, could land, we ended up in Mobile, Alabama. But talk about a culture shock. But you know, what a blessing that was, though. That place, you know, some beautiful people. We ran across some amazing people that support us along the way, and then from there, I went to the University of Florida and graduated with Go Gators! Graduated with a degree of civil engineering, and then I started working for one of the largest contractors in the U.S., building roads, light rails, highways. But I've always had that dream in the back of my mind of owning my own company. And a few years ago, you know, with my wife, we decided to make the jump and go for it. You know, it was pretty scary, but the economy was so strong that it was the right time. And it's a really rewarding, but it has some tough days, you know. And you really, you know, a lot of times you hear the politicians and people talk about, you know, what they do for small businesses, and small businesses are the core of the economy. But in my opinion, Mr. President, what you've done with the tax cuts for the small businesses have been the greatest achievement done in years. I tell you why, because, you know, a lot of people talk, but there hasn't really been tangible change, you know. But the tax cut is real dollars that go into businesses to reinvest. For me, it means having a little extra cash in the bank at the end of the day to give bonuses to my guys, because they deserve it. They deserve more than that. God knows that. But so it's amazing. The tax cuts, it's amazing for small businesses. So thank you for that, Mr. President. It gives me the ability to grow my business, to take larger projects, to invest in equipment and people. So thank you for that, and I hope people understand the importance of continuity. We have to keep this fight. We have to keep the tax reform and the help to small businesses for years to come.
Right.
So
thank you very much. So those tax cuts that help so many businesses, including small businesses, they will be gone if Biden gets in. You know they're going to wipe them out. So just remember that, and it won't be the same. You'll be losing a lot of jobs. So that's the way it works. It's unfortunate. Thank you. Great job. Appreciate it. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President, and the opportunity from you and your staff to share during National Small Business Week my story. My name is Erica Benfield, and I'm a Puerto Rican moved stateside at just 6 years old. Like many of us on this panel, we came here for the American dream. That's not the only start to my story. It goes back one generation back. My grandfather was a prisoner of war in Korea for 2 years, a Borinquenier. And when I saw what you and your administration did in returning the bodies to his comrades and others who couldn't make it back on their own, it meant a lot to me. We thank them for their service. Like my grandfather, my family also taught me great work ethic. And with the moral support of my husband, back in 2008, I started my first brick and mortar business. 2008, you know that year, the crash.
That's right.
During the Obama administration, there were hardly any loans for a business like mine. I didn't qualify. But it was tough, but we did it. I had an intern and myself, and we started in less than 500 square feet. 12 years later, Florida Living Quarters, FLQ Interiors, thanks to you and your administration, qualified for our first SBA loan. That 500 square foot store is now 5,000 square feet, 10 times the size in 12 years. Doesn't end there. I signed an exclusivity to sell only American-made blind shades and shutters. I said no to China. I will not sell Chinese products in my store. Last year, in 1 year, we saw 300% growth. When COVID-19 hit, we were the second quarter into our newly expanded showroom, and we had to make tough choices. I still remember the words from Congressman Waltz, "Keep pushing, the second wave of PPP is coming." And thanks to you and your administration, we qualified not only for the PPP loan, but also for the SBA loan forgiveness for 6 months. It saved every job, even our intern from the local college. Mr. President, I want to thank you personally because I feel that you've done more than what you promised. You say promises made, promises kept, but you did more than that for a business like mine. But it doesn't end there. Like you, in 2016, I ran for office for the first time and was elected as the first Latina, Hispanic elected official in the city of DeBary. Not one business has permanently closed in our city. And I believe that because we have kept taxes low, we have the lowest crime rate in the state of Florida, and our people help each other. Under the leadership of Governor DeSantis, we are investing in bringing more people to Florida. Now, I'm not a polished politician. I'm probably more nervous than anyone up here on this panel because it's only been 4 years, but you do a really good job, Mr. President. I invite you to visit DeBary and Volusia County, again, the home of NASCAR. And let me tell you, the Beast makes one hell of a pace car because I was there. I don't like heights, and I strapped in my seat and was there for that beautiful patriotic moment, high up in the bleachers, greeting you into our county. I hope you can remember me and my story, because I will never forget this day and the opportunity to thank you in person. And by the way, today is my 16-year-old son's birthday, Connor, and I ask you to wish him a happy birthday because he's sharing his mom in an effort like you to keep America great again. It's today. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. Great job. Thank you very much. Please.
Good morning, Mr. President. It's a great pleasure to see you here in sunny Florida. My name is Juan Gers. I am electrical engineer.
All right, great patriots. So we do have footage from the event that we are streaming. That is in Atlanta, Georgia, on Black economic empowerment. Now, what you were watching right now was President Trump in Florida on Latino economic empowerment. Now, if you guys missed it earlier today, we are uploading it onto the channel. Now, we're going to be switching over to the actual event that we are here to watch. So just give me a second here as we get everything ready to go. And some patriots are already speaking here. So let me just get everything ready to go for you, and we will go on from there. Thank you so much for being awesome and being here at Golden State Times for full coverage of this event. So just give me a second here, and we will be switching over.
Cry. President Donald J. Trump heard our cry. I'm giving you facts. He made it happen. Many minorities all across the state needed help. We needed additional unemployment. Our president made it happen. I know President Donald J. Trump economic record. And if he did it before, he can do it again. Help me with my speech, please. This is our time, people. My brothers and my sisters, ladies and gentlemen, this is our time for greatness and economic empowerment. President Donald J. Trump, take us back to the top. This is our time. God bless Atlanta, Georgia, and God bless our president, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much for having us once again. And to all my friends who are not from Georgia, welcome to Georgia. So Kelvin and I are not strangers to this stage, and we will continue to stand up and speak boldly as it relates to the many wins that have came from this administration regarding the Black community, because it is time. It is no secret that we are living in one of the most difficult times we've seen, especially in our lifetime. But under all the misinformation and the emotional responses, this has been a time of winning for the Black community. We have seen record low unemployment, HBCUs fully funded, families restored under the First Step Act, opportunity zones that came and provided better opportunities for our communities. And the pandemic has been a very difficult time, especially for businesses and families. However, one thing I can assure you is that President Trump stood by the small businesses. For 4 years, President Trump has stood with our business, our families, our communities. And by re-electing him, we will have a champion in the White House for another 4 years. So now, I will step aside and submit to my husband.
Well, I'll say welcome to Atlanta, because I'm from the A. Thank y'all. Well, my wife and I, we own a construction firm here. In fact, our headquarters is right across 285 on Powers Ferry from here. So we're right here at home in Cobb County. We have a number of ongoing projects across the state of Georgia, and I think we are prime examples of the backbone of America. Small business is the backbone of America. And there's a lot of Black folks that have small business. In the years leading up to 2020, we experienced really positive growth. Our operations tempo was high. We won awards here or there for the fastest growing business here. And then 2020 hit. And it changed things because, like I said, we started from a company of one. It was just me. And over the years, we were able to get more employees and benefits and health care plans and 401k matching. And we had to do all that to compete because the economy was just that strong, coming into this year. So we had to do things to raise the bar. and take care of our employees and to compete in a very competitive marketplace. These are all good things. The marketplace was competitive because our president, Donald J. Trump, he broke a lot of barriers, particularly with the bureaucracy, with permitting, with regulations. I can get into the details of construction. Y'all don't want to hear that, but there's a lot of paperwork in construction that Donald Trump helped clear up and clean up. And he passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. I think y'all remember that. I know some people were saying that that the average worker didn't benefit from it. Well, that's a lie. I can tell you right now, because my employees, our employees, each one of them saw increases in their take-home pay. So it benefited. I know that for a fact. So don't believe the lies that's out there. We know that this year has come with a myriad of challenges. In fact, like it's late March, early April, I was a little nervous too. I mean, I don't get scared much, but I got a little scared for about 2 days, right? For about 2 days. It don't last long. But by the grace of God and some very encouraging words from my wife, we decided to tackle this challenge head on, this pandemic head on. Because even though our governor did not shut down construction, the entire economy slowed down. So collaterally, it affected construction. And our project slowed down. And I mean, frankly, I wasn't real sure what to do for a minute. But we decided to tighten our belts. And then the CARES Act hit. And the PPP, the PPP was a blessing to us. And we didn't lose a single employee. No benefits were cut. It gave us a little time to kind of get on our feet, and our public sector clients were able to kind of get projects going again, and we're back in the groove. It hasn't come back all the way yet, but you know it's getting there. Like I said, our employees are still paid the same amount, and no benefit has been cut. And I'm a former military guy. I'm an Air Force veteran. And oh yeah. I love our military. And I wanted to make a couple comments about our military, because our president is so focused on supporting our military, and we've seen the benefits of that. His bold leadership and the administration has placed our military and our veterans on top of America's priority list, because for several years we had a lot of degradation in our military, and it wasn't a priority in the previous administration. And that's unfortunate, because most conservatives believe in a strong military and strong defense. And I wanted to mention a couple things to be proud of. Black accomplishment is okay. It's okay to cheer black accomplishment. This year, we got our very first black chief of staff, and 4-star General Charles Q. Brown was nominated and appointed. And I'm an Air Force Academy graduate, and our school has their first ever black superintendent, Richard Clark, Lieutenant General Richard Clark. So as I close, I wanted to say one thing to our community. Aren't you tired of being manipulated? Aren't you tired of being lied to? So I want you to do one thing. I want you to think about the strength of who we are, the strength of the black community. We've come through a lot, and we can go through a lot. And right now, we're not fighting against Donald Trump. Donald Trump is on our side. We're fighting against evil. We're fighting against factions. We're fighting against factions that want to break up our family. They want to take the male out of the home. Those are the elements that strengthen the black community. If you want to strengthen the black community, let's keep our fathers head of the household. That strengthens our community. And I just needed to get that off my chest, because the people in here understand that, and Donald J. Trump understands that, and we're going to vote the man who understands that into office for 4 more years.
All right, great patriots. As you guys can see, we are ready to go for President Trump from Atlanta, Georgia. So make sure you guys please share the live stream on social media. Black Economic Empowerment. And he's calling it the Platinum Plan. President Trump, look at that backdrop. That's an awesome, awesome backdrop. President Trump is on his way to Atlanta. He is set to arrive very, very soon. So make sure you guys please share the live stream on social media and don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Now we're going to be giving shout outs to all the patriots who are sharing the live stream as President Trump lands and arrives in Atlanta, Georgia. So let's go to Twitter to check who is sharing the live stream on social media. We are ready to go here at Golden State Times. We'd like to give a big thank you to all the patriots who have already been sharing the live stream. But let's see here. We want to give a big shout out to Kathy by Choice. Thank you so much. Kath by Choice, I apologize. Kath by Choice, thank you so much, great patriot. We also want to give a big thank you to FX999999 for your help and your support, sharing the stream. Audrey, thank you so much, great patriot. As you guys can see, President Trump is on his way. They're getting ready for President Trump. We'd like to give a big thank you to Travel Mimi 2222. Thank you so much, great patriot. We also want to give a big thank you to Make Earth Love Again. Thanks so much, great patriot. We also want to give a big shout out to Deb926. Oh, here we go.
First shall be last, and the last shall be first. I'm gonna give y'all time to catch up on that one. But my name is Angela Stanton King. I'm an Atlanta native, and I'm running for Congress. And to represent Georgia's 5th District. And people ask me all the time, they say, why are you running for Congress? And I say, well, for me, it's not about politics. It's personal. At the age of 5 years old, I was sexually assaulted. By the time I was 14 years old, I was pregnant and gave birth to my first child. And by the time I was 27 years old, I found myself in this state, in Georgia, chained to a bed at Pulaski State Prison, giving birth to my daughter for a nonviolent crime. Fast forward to today. I've gone from prison all the way to the palace. Not only did I overcome this system, not only did I survive this system, but I turned around and I came back and I fought this system to get the First Step Act passed, which was signed by President Donald J. Trump, December 18, 2018. If that wasn't enough for you, the 11,000 people that we have brought home thus far, our president, my president, also made it illegal because of my story to chain women to the bed during childbirth while incarcerated. On February 18th of this year, the day before my birthday, President Donald J. Trump gave me a full, unconditional pardon. This is the president of a second chance. This is the president of opportunity. And that same chance and opportunity that he gave to me, Atlanta, Georgia, I'm bringing it to you. With this president in the White House for another 4 years, and with me sitting in John Lewis's seat, guess what I'm bringing with me? Not only are we bringing criminal justice reform, because please believe I am the epitome of criminal justice reform. We will also be bringing school choice. And because of my own story, I will personally be fighting to protect our children, to protect our unborn, for school choice, for economic opportunity, and last but not least, to protect our religious freedom.
Wow, that was powerful. What an honor to stand before so many of my warrior friends. I'm kind of getting a chance to know for the first time really meeting. Thank you guys for the mission, for your passion, for your courage. I'm going to share a little vision with you that I've been thinking about over the last few years, and I begin to see it beginning to happen here. There's no race in this country who understands more the power of life lived in pursuit of happiness than the black community. We are a race that once we were freed, experienced for the first time the ability to have a family, to have a job, to have a future, to have hope, to dream past the obstacles of somebody else's limitations. And we went at it big time. Here's a little history you guys don't know about, because we were a race that committed to education, to faith, to business ownership, and to our family like no others did. We were a race that in the 40s, 50s, and 60s led our country in the growth of the middle class. Men matriculated from college. Men committed to marriage over 70%. And percentage of entrepreneurs over 40%, which allowed 50 to 60% of black Americans in the 60s when I was raised to live the American dream. What I love about what happened in 2016 is that injected into the black community was something called hope. We finally started to see that we were not what the Democrats thought we were, was continue to tell us we would be. We're people that are pioneers from the very beginning, people of vision from the very beginning, and all we needed was hope. And my vision very simply is this, because God has a perfect plan. There's a reason why we have such great ancestors that fought so hard to give us the opportunities we have today. And because they have, we will be the race that pulls our community back from the abyss of socialism. And our race will be the one that pulls our country back from the abyss of socialism. Democrats have been addicted to us for decades. It's time for us to have them break the habit. I've had a chance to meet a few friends here, and I'll just say this, guys. What have we done in the past, and what are we doing now? We learned to dream big. I had a chance to talk to Joy just a little bit ago, and she was talking about this business she's about to build, and she moves to a different part of the country. Talked to Kim a little bit ago, and she asked her what got her to moving toward this direction. She said, our kids have no hope. That's going to change. Our greatest legacy is giving our children the opportunity to dream big, to hope across, regardless of the obstacle, and to know this is a country truly of second chances, of dreaming as big as we might want to, and we move forward with that. I'm so thankful for President who's showing us what it looks like, and for opportunity for those of us to know what it is to replicate an American-loving leader. And we're going to get that done. Listen, guys, I'm proud of you. You're the pioneers. You're the ones that are going to be leading our nation, our race, from the abyss of darkness. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your boldness. Thank you for having the courage to stand up for a president who's standing up for all Americans. You guys are getting it done. I'm just proud to be part of it. Thank you so much for this opportunity, okay? All the best.
Hello, my name is Kim Klasick. I speak soft, but I carry a big stick. When I decided to run for office, I was asked, what makes you qualified? And then I turned around and I asked that reporter, what makes me unqualified? I get talked about a lot. I read the comments on social media. I get it. I dropped out of college. But you know what? I work hard. I had no idea walking down the streets in Baltimore would be a viral campaign ad. I had no idea that just caring about the black community would make me a target by the black community on the left. But it's okay, because I know with President Trump, I can bring so much to Baltimore City. He talks about opportunity zones, we need that. He talks about school choice, we need that too. We have 13 schools out of 39 where kids graduate not proficient in math. For the past 8 years, I've been working with my nonprofit, Workforce Development. We've helped over 200 women become gainfully employed. 30% went on to be financially independent. The only way you lift anyone out of poverty is with employment. And I understand that, and I know everybody else does too. But we have to make sure other people understand that, and I hope that people will vote based on their best interest this time around. As we saw during the coronavirus lockdown, we had to rely on other countries for PPE. We're supposed to be the best country in the world. All of our manufacturing jobs went overseas thanks to NAFTA and Bill Clinton. But I know President Trump will work to bring that biotech industry right back to America. After I'm elected, that's right. After I'm elected, I hope to work with President Trump to bring that billion-dollar medical equipment industry right back through Baltimore City's port. We'll have apprenticeship programs, career and job training, and I will make sure no one is displaced in the city of Baltimore. We have a big job to do, and I know everybody on this stage can do it, and I thank everyone for your support. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
He was looking after me and my family, making sure that we were getting everything we needed. And Rod Stewart walked in and they said, "Mr. Trump, Rod Stewart's here." He said, "I don't care, Ben Carson's here." But, and our relationship developed during the campaign. So, you know, when I dropped out, I had to decide who I was going to support. And during the campaign, I came to realize that he and I represented the same things. We felt very much the same policy-wise. We're a little different personality-wise. But I wanted to talk to him and see how he felt about the issue that was really the only thing that would have encouraged me to go into government, and that was, what are we going to do about the poor and the disadvantaged people in our society? And I was really taken aback by how much we agreed about what should be done to get rid of the paternalistic attitudes, pat people on the head and say, there, you poor little thing, I'm going to take care of you. And instead partnering with people to allow them to get out of desperate situations. That's exactly what's happened over the course of this time. And you know, certainly that's what happened in my case, you know, growing up in desperate poverty with all kinds of crime around me. But, you know, I had something that a lot of people don't have. A God-fearing mother who was wise and who wouldn't allow us to be victims. and made me read books. I didn't want to read books. I wanted to watch TV, but she made me read books. And as I read about doctors and scientists and historians and entrepreneurs, I began to realize that the person who has the most to do with what happens to you in life is you. It's not somebody else. And somebody else cannot stop you. And there was plenty of prejudice in those days. They talk about racism now. Racism now, that is a joke. Compared to what I grew up with, that is a joke. And guess what? Everything won't be racism after the election. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? But, I realized that I could do anything I wanted in this country. It was up to me. I just had to study. I had to work hard. I had to have goals. I didn't expect anybody to give me anything. And also, as I talked to the president, it wasn't the president then, I realized that he also grasped a very important principle, and that is a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's why he doesn't engage in a lot of identity politics. He tries to do things that raises the tide for everybody. And what has that done in the African American community? Poverty rate down, wages up, more people working, unemployment at the lowest levels by the end of Q4 2019, home ownership going up. It's at its highest rate since 2008 right now. The wealth gap decreasing, on and on it goes. You see, what we need to do is look at what he does. It's much more important than what anybody says, or what they say he says, or what they say he means when he says. And also, we must grasp our history. The history in the African American community is something to be proud of. The way that our faith and our family got us through slavery, and it got us through the periods after slavery and incredible segregation and racism. And those entities that are attacking the nuclear family and attacking our faith are not our enemies, no matter who they hide behind, no matter what celebrity or sports star they stand behind. They are not the friends of this community. And we need to make sure that we know that. And we're at when it comes to people trying to destroy history, something that we all need to understand. Your history is what gives you your identity. Your identity is what gives you your beliefs. And if you allow that to be destroyed, you become easy prey for anybody who comes along. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So, and be wary of those people who accuse you and accuse us of exactly what they're doing. That's how you can tell what they're doing. Whatever they accuse you of, that's what they're doing. And this election is not about Democrats and Republicans. This is about people who believe in our system and people who want to fundamentally change us into something else. Killing, destroying, intimidating people, those are not godly principles. And we should never invite people into our community, no matter what has happened, who throw bombs and loot and destroy people's livelihood. And we see people welcoming them. Those people ought to be shunned. Kick them out of your neighborhood. Don't let them destroy everything and then go back to their lives of luxury. What a bunch of crap, And instead, we need to be concentrating on educating people and on building our communities. And that's what President Trump is doing, building our communities. All you have to do is look. All you have to do is open your eyes and see what is happening. The best things that have happened in a very long time in this country. Actions speak louder than words. And partnering with somebody who also believes in God and believes in godly principles. He believes in the principles of loving your neighbor, of caring about the poor, of living values and principles. God bless this country and God bless our president. Thank you.
please welcome former Speaker of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, T.W. Shannon.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with so many Georgians and people who are free-minded and know that liberty still reigns in this country today. You know, today kind of reminded me of being in my home church, my African-American church in Lawton. You know, we've got people here who are God-fearing. We even got Dr. Alveda King, who's liable to break out in song in any minute. We know she will. But the reason it reminds me of church is because about this time in my African-American church that I grew up in, we'd always have politicians start streaming. Anybody know what I'm talking about? They start coming in promising you the world and promising if you just keep doing what you've always done, things are going to get better. Well, Donald J. Trump is different. He is making a difference in the lives of African Americans each and every day, and he's doing it with policies that encourage growth, wealth, and investment, because that's what this country needs, and that's what our community needs. You know, when I think about the opportunities that exist for the people of America, it is important to me that we remember that they were founded on godly principles, and I appreciate the fact that this is the most significant election in our history. And when we think about the opportunities that are going to exist for our kids and grandkids, it's not going to be because of a big government socialist program that's being pushed by Biden and Harris. It's going to be because of a president who stands for liberty and justice for all. So my message, I know we're short on time and you've heard a lot of speeches. Every one of you today, if you're African American and you are a Republican, you know what it means to be injured. You know what it means to stand up for what you believe. You know what it means to have an aunt or a special cousin who thinks less of you because of who you're voting for. But I want to tell you, don't give up, because each one of you stands in the shoes of Harriet Tubman today. And Miss Tubman said it best. She said that I could have freed 1,000 more if they only knew they were slaves. And today, and I have one word, and that is to our president. Mr. President, it is an honor for all of us to be here and to welcome you to Georgia and to say that you have been a friend, not just to America, but you have been a true friend to Black America. And we look forward to hearing about your platinum plan for how we move this country forward and how we move African American forward. Thank you.
The Embassy Lead Pastor, Apostle D. Dwayne Hart, and Fellowship of International Churches founder, Bishop Wellington Boone.
Hello, it's all a pleasure to be with you, and this is a great time, I believe, that, in America, because I believe this is time for revival to come. I absolutely do. So as a senior pastor, as a bishop, and as an attorney, I have certain core values that I personally have as it relates to this time that we're in. And I realize that I have to make my decisions based on those values. One of those values is very, very important, being a member, literally, of the city here, born and raised. I recognize that I have to look at the life of those that are unborn, those in the womb. How are we going to protect those in the womb? And I realize even with Black babies in the womb, they've been unprotected. And as a result of that, they've been a direct result of genocide, of eugenics as a result. And so if I have to determine who is going to protect babies in the womb, I have to support and I have to endorse President Donald J. Trump. Also, as an advocate of religious liberty, I care about religious liberty and religious freedom. And I believe that the next civil rights movement actually is going to be a fight for religious freedom. I believe that the only way that we're going to be able to stand, we have to be religious freedom fighters ourselves. But if I want to protect our First Amendment rights of religious freedom, I have to support and endorse President Donald J. Trump. I also served as the president of Prison Fellowship under Chuck Colson. I also was the chairman of Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles. I was a commissioner for juvenile justice. I care about criminal justice and prison reform. I've seen the eyes of those that are in prison that are there many times too long, and they're not there for rehabilitation. So if I want to see more executive and bipartisan legislative laws, such as the First Step Act, I have to support and endorse Donald J. Trump as President of the United States. I personally attended Howard University undergraduate school and law school. I love the existence of historically black colleges and universities. And I want more opportunities for young people to be able to be world changers. So in order to have billions of dollars that can come and help those HBCUs, I have to support and endorse the re-election of Donald J. Trump. And lastly, if I want to continue to see a drop in unemployment and a rate of black Americans and to see economic empowerment of the black community, I have to support and endorse President Donald J. Trump as President of the United States. Lastly, if I want to see true change in our nation, hope for our nation, revival in our nation, among black and whites together, I have to support and endorse Donald J. Trump.
Well, I'm a preacher, so no, I'm not going to preach, but if we was in a good church, I'd say, can I get somebody to give the Lord a good praise right now? And one of the things about that moment is we can do that here without being criticized, without being looked at wrong. We can say, let's give God some praise. Well, I am here. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. I'm from a town that I grew up. I'm a son of a preacher. My mother was an accountant for the local university. I was fortunate enough to go to university because she worked for the university. And so my education was free, thank the Lord. And I wasn't that, I was very fortunate to be able to have good grades, thank the Lord. And so I am a child who grew up in the steel mill era and jobs left like crazy. And I've watched the city in declination. I've been fortunate enough to be all around the world and to do many things. I've met many politicians, I've met many leaders. I've never met nobody like this guy. I think for number one, it's because he's not a politician. What I've learned over the past 3 to 4 years is bureaucracy isn't as strong as we thought it was. You can get things done in a short period of time. You can make a difference. You can keep your word. And he gets attacked quite a bit, and I get it, I understand. Following behind the things he's followed behind and just done, he says what he feels. We mistake that for racism. But I met him, Bruce, we were together, and I said, let me test this racism. I know I'm black. No, and I say that for a reason. I understand being pulled over by police because my car is nice. I understand some of these woes. I am not a compromising black man. I will never compromise my blackness. I'm proud to be a black man. And I will fight for black people as long as I can. Here's the deal. When I met him, he touched me with strong you know, I'm Donald J. Trump. He wasn't timid. Then I stood by his daughter, Ivanka, and it was time to pray. And I say, let me test it again. We were holding hands. She reached out for my hand and she said, let's pray. She was pregnant, I'll never forget it. And she held my hand. I say, a racist man's child would never. So I got several reasons why I'm going to support him. And I'm ready to take whatever heat because it can't be hot enough because the furnace is in my favor. I believe in righteousness and justice. I don't believe for fighting for justice alone, there must be righteousness. And I don't believe in fighting for righteousness alone, there must be justice. I believe in the economic ability of this man to accomplish economics for all people, but black people as well. He's proven it. I believe that his record is proven, and if we compare it to 47 years of nothingness, I shouldn't say nothingness, I should say destruction. And if I have to prove a history, I have 3 years of a history that says you got opportunity zones, you have education opportunities, you have prison reform. I believe in police being reformed and not eliminated. I am somebody who believes this is our time. And we must take advantage of this moment. So why am I voting for him? Why am I endorsing him? Because I believe that he is going to keep his word. God bless you.
Glory to God. Glory to God. I'm Bishop Wellington Boone, and I fully support and expect Donald J. Trump to be the next president of the United States. I know a little bit about his background, and his forefathers, from the Hebrides Islands. One of the greatest revivals we know in history came from the Hebrides Islands. And so what they're noted for is Calvinism. And Calvinism says that there is a manifest destiny over your life. And this man and his forefathers have said that he's a product of manifest destiny, that God determined before the foundation of the world that he would become the president of the United States. Now I can clearly say this to you because this is important to understand that by the fact that he has, by his fruits, which you have all evidenced by the things you are saying, you'll know them by their fruits, the priorities of Scripture he has made here as the president of the United States. Remember, it says that promotion comes not from the east nor the west, but the south. God lifts one up and takes another down. God made this man president. And then by the fact that he's targeted the inner cities and all of your evidence that he's doing a great job in reaching the inner cities, it shows the favor of God is on the black community. The Bible says not many wise are called, not many noble are called, but I've called the base things of the world to confound the wise. You are a prophetic sign that revival is coming to black America, and God is using this man to do it. So we're joining with him because a revival is coming. And let every man be a liar, but let the word of God be true. As we re-elect this man to be president, it is a visible manifestation that the revival is already here. Come on, let's re-elect. Continue to do a great job, Mr. President. It's your day. God bless you. See you next time.
The good book says, a nation divided.
All right, folks, so as you guys can see, they're getting ready for President Trump as he has already arrived in Atlanta, Georgia. He's already in the venue where this is taking place in Atlanta. So make sure you guys please share the live stream on social media and don't forget to click the thumbs up button.
Hey, oh, God is good. Now, don't get me wrong, this matches the suit. You know, I was born about 2.5 hours from here, knowing that I was colored. I went to college about an hour and a half from here, knowing that I was black. I have a home here in Atlanta, knowing that I'm African American. But time has changed, and now I'm proud to be an American. I played football in the 80s in New York City, and I met a young man that I thought was very brass, but I learned that he loved his family, he loved this country, and he loved people. So I remember telling a reporter from the New York Times that this guy could be president of the United States in 1985 because he loved America. But I guarantee you can't find that in the archives today. But I've always known that he's different because he became the 45th president of the United States of America. And I also get upset because he don't get the credit he deserves for all the things that he's done in the African American community, like the historical black colleges that help to build great black leaders in the world today. And also the prison reform that benefit most of the African American. So I get upset about that. But you know, his administration and himself worked extremely hard to do many things for America, not just African Americans. And you know, I said once, when you give a man a job, you give him self-worth. And do you know this president, in 3.5 years, put 1 million African Americans to work. In 8 years, the Obama-Biden put 140,000 people to work. You know, I've always said I would stand shoulder to shoulder with this man because he keeps God in the house. And all us Americans have received so many touchdown passes from this man that I want to say it is time for us to recognize our quarterback. So it's my honor and pleasure to introduce my friend, the President of the United States of America, the 45th President, Donald J. Trump.
I don't know about Herschel. I'd watch him in college. I'd watch him carry that ball. But, you know, I think he'd do just as well as a senator or a governor. We're going to have to start talking to him about that. He's a fantastic person, great man. I'm honored to be back in the heart of Georgia with the truly incredible organization, Black Voices for Trump, and we appreciate it. In 39 days, we're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And we will do it with a record number of votes from the black community. We have no doubt. That's all happening. That's all happening. We're getting a lot of, see the people back there, they're saying, what's going on over here? They're not happy about it, but that's okay. Our movement is welcoming millions of black Americans back to the Republican Party, the party of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I looked at the dismal and shameful record of the Democrat Party and asked black Americans, what the hell do you have to lose, right? And they all said, you shouldn't use the word hell, but I said, it's just more descriptive. Doesn't work as well without it. Today I want to share what you have to gain from voting Republican on November 3rd. Will be the biggest election of our lives. For decades, Democrat politicians like Joe Biden have taken black voters for granted. They made you big promises before every election, and then the moment they got to Washington, they abandoned you and they sold you out. The Democrat Party used you and they lied to you every single time. You know it better than anybody else knows it. The Democrats will always take back the vote. What they want to do is they'll take that vote back. They want to take the black voter for granted, and they have taken the black voter for granted. And it's not fair, it's not right, and it's not going to happen because we're going to have such a victory like you've never had before. In 2016, thank you. Thank you. In 2016, I made you a solemn pledge that whether you voted for me or not, I would be your greatest champion. Since that time, I've delivered even more than I promised. It's one of those things. Few politicians do that, but I believe we have. Before the China virus, we built the greatest economy for African Americans in the history of our country, and we are doing it again. In the first 3 years, we achieved the lowest black unemployment rate in history. The black youth unemployment rate reached an all-time low. We achieved the largest job gains for African Americans on record. Black Americans saw the largest increase in home ownership. The poverty rate for African Americans reached the lowest level ever recorded. And last year, 811,000 African Americans were lifted out of poverty, the most in over 51 years. In my first 3 years, we lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction of any president in the history of our country. I did more for the black community in 47 months. I saw they used that line, so I don't want to ruin it by saying it a second time. It was in the video, but I will say it again. Than Joe Biden did in 47 years. And I'm here today to announce a brand new plan to deliver more opportunity, more security, more fairness, and more prosperity to black communities. We call it the Platinum Plan. Platinum Plan. And that's a contract with black Americans, and it's going to be something that people talk about for a long time to come. If you vote Republican over the next 4 years, we will create 3 million new jobs for the black community. Open 500,000 new black-owned businesses. Increase access to capital in black communities by $500 billion. And this includes investing in community development, financial institutions, and minority depository institutions. Build up peaceful and safer urban neighborhoods with the highest standards of, and you know this, of policing. We want the highest standards. We have to have highest standards of policing. Bring even greater fairness to the justice system. We did criminal justice reform. We remember that. Even greater, we will create a national clemency project to right wrongful prosecutions and to pardon individuals who have reformed their life. You saw Alice, right? We love Alice. She had another 24 years to go. Can you believe it? She served 22 years. She had another 24 years to go. It was ridiculous. And she is a great woman. Create a ladder of opportunity for African American children by delivering school choice to every parent in America. So important. Give black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their communities. Bring better and tailored health care to address the historic disparities that we've had for so many years. You know that. This includes investing in treatments for kidney disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, sickle cell disease, and maternal mortality. Advance home ownership and wealth building in the black community. Bring more manufacturing back to the USA, which we're doing anyway, and back to the inner cities, which have been largely forgotten, although not so much in the last 3 years when you get right down to it. Thank you. End Democrat policies that import low-wage foreign workers from overseas to replace black workers in our inner cities. Joe Biden cares more about the citizens of foreign countries than he does about black Americans living in our own country. I will always put Americans first, and that includes, very, very importantly, black Americans. And there's much more in our plan, which we're releasing today, so we'll get everyone a copy, and it's actually been very well received, and we appreciate that. The Platinum Plan is a bold vision that we can and really will achieve over the next 4 years, and we'll be able to do it, if not sooner. Unlike my opponent, I'm not a career politician, thank goodness. I get results, and I keep my promise, and you've seen that. You've seen that. Together, we will not only build up America's black communities, we'll help with your vote, with the Platinum Plan, we'll lift up all forgotten communities, and we'll strengthen our entire nation. And we are going to have an incredible 4 years, but more importantly, we're going to have an incredible 40 years. We're going to have many, many great years because we're setting a foundation for the future. So when I'm not here, you're going to be here forever, especially look at these young people over here. You're going to really be there for a long time, but we want this for long term. This year, the Republican Party has 26 black Republicans running for Congress. Where are they? Are they here? Are they here? A lot of them are here, right? Whoa. That's a good-looking group of people. And you're doing well. just about in every instance. Well, we're going to help you to do even better. We'll be helping you. You watch. And we're thrilled to be joined today by 8 of them. Raise your hand. Which are the 8? Oh, that's so great. Yeah. They have what it takes. That's great. That's fantastic. Great job. One of them I've endorsed very strongly. I saw an ad that I liked. I thought it was great. Raise your hand, please. What a great. They've been now endorsed, I will tell you. And congratulations, by the way. It's going to be a fantastic night, November 3rd. Now, I don't know, with this ballot situation, it's, you're not going to see it. November 3rd, the Democrats are playing games. You see that? You see they found ballots in a waste paper basket. They found ballots dumped in a stream. Take a look at Iowa, the primaries. You remember the primary? They went to Iowa. We love Iowa, but they tried this ballot concept, and they still don't know who won. That was a long time ago. That was in their primary, the first primary. And it's a very terrible thing that's happening, very, very terrible thing. But you're going to be raising the hand, if not November 3rd, hopefully shortly thereafter. I know you're going to be raising your hand. With me, we may end up in a dispute for a long time because that's the way they want it. But we're going to end up winning, that's for sure. Okay? We're going to end up winning. When I give my State of the Union address next year, I look forward to welcoming a historic number of black Republican members of Congress, and we're going to take back the House. We're going to take back the House. We've already won some seats back. They don't like to talk about that. The fake news. You'll find out about the fake news. Have you figured out the fake news yet? You're young and handsome and beautiful. Have you figured out the fake news yet? You'll learn. You'll learn. You'll learn to live with it. You'll learn to do what you have to do. But we are going to take back the House. I think we're only 17 short now. We picked up a couple. We just won a big one in Los Angeles. We haven't won in 22 years. California. Won a big one in Wisconsin. It was a great one. We won some really good ones. So we're inching up, and you watch what's going to happen. It's going to be a very big night for the House. It's going to be a really retired Pelosi. That's not a bad idea. That's going to be great. Congratulations, all. That's already a great achievement. It really is. It's already. But together we'll fulfill our contract with Black America, and we'll pass the Platinum Plan into law, and we'll do it quickly and easily. We're also joined by a great friend of mine, Dr. Ben Carson. Where's Ben? Ben, I love Ben. Special man. He's doing a great job, too. He's been my friend from the beginning. Can I tell the one story, Ben? He came up to me he was campaigning. He was the toughest one. I mean, to tell you what, we had some really tough ones. A lot of them like to try and say they were tough, but they weren't, like Kasich. He only had one thing. He wouldn't leave the race. He'd get -1. He's going on to the next one. This guy did great. He was incredible. And he came up to me during the race, and he was doing well. He said, "You know that you're going to win, don't you?" I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "You know you're going to win." He was doing great. And he was really like in second and third and fourth and back to second. I mean, he was right up there. He was great. I said, we got to get this guy out of here. But he came up to me, he did, and he said, you're going to win. And I'll let him tell you the rest of the story if he'd like to do it sometime. But he gave a very specific reason, and I will never forget what he said. But he said, you know you're going to win, don't you? And I just thought it was really nice, and you know what I'm talking about, Ben. So Ben Carson, what a job he's done, too. Respected by everybody. Thank you, Ben. And a man who ran in the primary, who I got a call from another great man, David Perdue. He said, could you do us a favor? There's a guy named Brian Kemp, and he's running in a tough primary. He's got a tough opponent. And do you think you could maybe endorse him? I love David Perdue. I said, who is he? I don't know him, okay? And he said, well, he's been for you. I said, well, I've heard that before. I better be careful. And we did a little, where's Brian? Where's Brian? Right over here, Brian. So we did a little research. We did a little research, and he has. He was for me all the way, and I said, that's good. You know, the worst thing is when you're endorsing people that say bad things, right? He only said good. And I got to know him, and I got to know his wife, Marty, and I said, absolutely, and we endorsed him, and he won that primary so easily. He won so easily. And they're still trying to figure out what happened in the race. I've been watching, you know what, it wasn't that close. He won by like a lot, actually. You know, he didn't win by 15 votes, he won by a lot. How many votes was that? That was a lot. Well, we won't call it a landslide, but it wasn't very close, you know. How many votes was that, Brian? It was a lot. 51. To me, you know what that is? That's Yankee Stadium for a World Series. Oh. You know, people would say, oh, that was tight. I don't think, like I heard I won Michigan by 12,000. I said, that's an almost full Madison Square Garden, you know? Not quite full, but that's Yankee Stadium for the World Series. I think that's a lot. We look at it differently. But I do want to introduce also David Perdue, who is, he is really an incredible guy. And he loves everybody in this room. Where's David? David, please stand up. Is that right? Did you make that call? Well, you made that call. He made that call, and that was a good call because your governor's doing a great job and David's doing a great job, and I hope you can support David and Brian and all of them. They're incredible people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, David, for everything. Thanks also to Oklahoma's first black Speaker of the House, T.W. Shannon. Where's T.W.? Oh, I like that. I want to do that. I want to do that. Thank you, T.W. Great reputation. Thank you very much. And a friend of mine who, my children, you know, they'll always be children. They may be a little older than children, but they're always my children. They love her, Lynn Patton. Lynn, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. And if you're a UFC fan, anybody like UFC? It's, I'll tell you what, that's right, Usman. He goes, Usman. He's, I know who he is. He's tough, that's who he is. Kamaru Usman, where is our champ? Come on, champ, get up. Man, oh man, oh man. What a fighter you are. I don't want to mess with him. I may weigh a couple of pounds more. Do you think I could take you to fight, champ? I don't think so. He goes, no. I think you're right, champ. But I watched a fight you had a couple of months ago. Unbelievable and talent, but right up here too, you know? It's a combination. The muscles are important, but you got to have the other. You got to have the... You know, he actually looks very good in a suit, but he's one of the few people who look better without a suit. There aren't too many of us. Hey, there aren't too many of us that can say that, right? Right, men? The men in this audience, huh? But I just want to thank you, champ, and good luck. I'll be watching. You have a big fight coming up, and I'll be watching, and it's a great group of people, great group of champions. Thank you very much. Thank you. Another great fighter, Ali Abdelaziz, who is tough. Where is he? There he is. Oh, you're tough. You're so tough, the two of you guys. I'd like to see you both fight, but there's a little weight difference, I guess, right? You probably think you can take him, right? But what is the difference in weight? What is it? 20? 10? I know. What is it, though? And how, were you a fighter at one time? And how good, you pretty good? Not good as him? Nobody else is either, so, you know, that's easy. Yeah, you were a good fighter. Also, Atlanta's top hip-hop producer, Polo, do you know, where is he? The Don. You know, Don King used to call me the Don, right? He still does, actually. But you didn't get it from Don King, I know that, right? Nice to see you. Great to have you. Great to have you. Thank you very much. Do we have another UFC fighter here? Because I had heard yes, because I know we had somebody else go. I just don't want to skip it in case we do. I have a lot of respect for them. Anybody gets in a ring and does that and comes out winning, to me, I have a lot of respect. And when you become the champ, I want to tell you, that's a hell of a thing. That's what you live for, the belt, right? The money or the belt? You know what? If you get the belt, the money comes, right? So, great going, champ. Fantastic. Over the last 50 years, black Americans have mostly voted Democrat, but every day more black Americans are deciding that the old way is not working. 5 decades of evidence prove that Democrat politicians do not care about the black community. They only care about power for themselves, whatever that means. My opponent is offering black Americans nothing but the same old, tired, empty slogans. By the way, he's staying in again today. The guy. Hey, champ, if I lose to a guy that's like you losing to a fighter that, you know, hasn't worked out in the last 6 months. This guy never goes out. It's terrible, huh? Oh, you better make sure we're not going to be very embarrassed. I lost to a guy that didn't campaign. You know why he's not campaigning? I guess it's an energy factor. So what the hell is going on? If I lose to a man that doesn't campaign, no, he's announced every day. He announced we're going to stay in today. I don't know. Hey, I can't tell you. But the Democrats are angry at him. They say you can't do that. You know, I just left Florida, and from here I'm going to Washington, then I'm going to Virginia, then I'm going to someplace else and someplace else. By the way, I see Kelly and I see Collins back there. Will you please stand up? Okay, please. Please. You know, those are 2 champions. So, you know, they had their names in there, but they took them out. You know why? Because they probably want to not mention them together. They're going to end up liking each other. You watch. And they're 2 great people. I'm not going to skip them over. They thought it would be diplomatic. That's not diplomatic. That's stupid, right? But I stand here to offer solutions. I want to congratulate you both, really fighting a good fight. I want to say that. Both of you, Doug, Kelly, really great. It's amazing. Well, I sort of like it. You know why? They're going to be in there fighting. Don't anybody get out. They're going to get, and it goes, and everybody's going to come with them. And the only thing I know for sure, they're all going to vote for me, both of them. So, Brian, don't let them get out. Don't let anybody get out. Let them. That's going to be a fight. But everyone's going for both of them. Huh? Okay, it's going to be, hey, we don't have long to go either. We don't have long to go. November 3rd. I've spent the last 4 years reversing the horrible damage Joe Biden inflicted on the black community over 47 years. 47 years. He always says, oh, I should have done this. I said, you've been there for 47 years, you know? It's always great when they tell you what you should be doing and they haven't done it themselves. And, you know, it's not like it was 25 years ago that he left. He was there 3.5 years ago, right? So, you know, it's one of those things. No one in Washington politics today has done more to hurt black Americans than Joe Biden. It's true. For half a century, Joe's personally advocated or enacted virtually every policy that has caused pain and suffering in the black community. You know that. Joe Biden shipped millions of your best jobs overseas, hollowed out the black middle class, and with open borders, trapped children in failing government schools, sent young men to fight in endless wars. They just never end. They're coming back home. You see that. They're coming back home. Many are already back. While our inner cities crumbled at home and made cities less safe and less secure, Joe Biden should not be demanding your support. He should be begging for your forgiveness. He really should be. My opponent drafted the 1994 disaster, the 1994 crime bill, which caused unfair sentencing disparities that devastated black families. And I mean, just devastated. I have heard more about the 1994, and when we did criminal justice reform, it was largely about erasing that terrible act. That was his deal. I rolled back the unfair provisions of the 1994 Biden crime bill, and I signed it into groundbreaking criminal justice reform, which people are so happy about. Even my enemies are saying thank you for that. Today, we're glad to be joined by the first person to be released under the First Step Act, who I was honored to have as my guest at the State of the Union, a really wonderful man, Matthew Charles. Where's Matthew? Where is Matthew? Where's Matthew? What a good man, what a smile. I looked at that smile from the podium downstairs. I was surrounded by all those killer politicians. And I looked at Matthew, who's the nicest looking guy in the house. Thank you, Matthew. You're doing well, Matthew, right? That's great, Matthew. You deserve what you got. You deserve it. Biden supported the twin disasters of NAFTA and China's entry into the World Trade Organization, which eliminated 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs held by black Americans. You know that. Joe Biden's globalist agenda closed down factories in Baltimore and sent them, just see what happened. All these factories, all these jobs, all these factories, sent them to Beijing. He shuttered the plants in Michigan and he sent them to Mexico. I replaced NAFTA, one of the worst trade deals, one of the worst, stupidest deals I've ever seen in my life, with the new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs. That was one they said could not be done, David, right? They said it couldn't be done. David Perdue, they said that one couldn't be done, right, David? And we got it done in pretty quick time, too. To revitalize neglected communities, we created nearly 9,000 opportunity zones with Tim Scott, South Carolina. You know Tim Scott. Tim Scott is great. Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina came to my office, came to the Oval Office, and he had this idea, and I said, that sounds good. And we got it done, and people were surprised that we could even get it done, and it has turned out to be incredible. $75 billion of investment have poured into these neighborhoods, which will create an estimated 500,000 jobs and lift 1 million Americans out of poverty. When the China virus struck, we raced to ensure that black Americans had the medical care and the financial support that they needed. Through the Paycheck Protection Program, which was a big deal, we helped save over 200,000 black-owned small businesses. A lot of small businesses. It's incredible. The black community has tremendous talent in terms of those businesses and small businesses. We saved at least 200,000 of them. As we continue to battle the virus, my administration is sheltering those at highest risk while rapidly developing treatments, and the vaccine is coming very quickly. I see where a couple of the Democrats don't want to have the vaccine because they say, well, we don't want it because we think Trump is pushing it too fast. Well, that's the reason we're going to have it. This would have taken years to get. We're years ahead of schedule, and this would have been 2-3 years by Democrats. And but now they're very concerned because they're afraid it's happening too fast, and that means we're going to get credit. I don't want credit. We want to save lives. That's what it's. We will crush the virus. Our opponents will crush the black middle class. That's what they've been doing, and they've been doing it for a long time, for too long. They will deliver a crippling shutdown and a very steep depression. If he gets elected, this guy, okay, you will have the greatest depression that this country has ever seen. And that includes a pretty big one in 1929. Hello, how are you? You look great. I love her dress. That's great. Thank you for being here. I didn't know you were going to be here. Thank you very much. Nearly 1.3 million African Americans have gotten jobs in the last 4 months alone. And next year we will be, I think it'll be the greatest year, economically the greatest year in the history of our country. And that's good for everybody. That's good for everybody, right? Especially for these young geniuses, these young political geniuses that are coming along. But I think we're going to have the greatest year in the history of our country economically. And I think our third quarter, which happens to be, it's going to be announced 2 days before, you know, the numbers come out 2 days before the election, right at the beginning of November. And I mean, I'll say it now. These people, all those people up there, they'll hold me to it. They won't give me credit if I was right. But if I was wrong, it'll be headlines. We have breaking news. Trump said wrong. but I think we're going to have a tremendous third quarter. After years of rebuilding other countries, we're finally rebuilding our country. The path to the American dream has always been education. Republicans believe that school choice is the civil rights issue of our time. And Joe Biden isn't allowed to go there because of the radical left. He's controlled by the radical left totally. He's exhausted. But Biden's promised a ban on charter schools and to oppose school choice. Joe Biden is willing to spend billions and billions upon resettling refugees from all around the world, but he won't spend one penny providing school choice to black children in America, which is interesting. During their first year in office, President Obama and VP Biden cut funding for historically black colleges and universities. I've increased HBCU funding, and I made it permanent. You know, just a quick story. So what was happening is I'd be there the first year. I saw these probably 42 people came up, and they were the heads of individual colleges, historically black colleges, universities, and they were the heads, and I'd see them. I said, "Oh, hello, how you doing?" They were nice people. And we took a picture in the White House. We do that. You know, a lot of presidents don't believe anyone should ever enter the Oval Office, but then with me, I say, "Come on in." But we took a picture. Then the next year they were there again, and I said, "Right, we know the story, my friend. We know the story." They were there, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing back here?" They said, "We're here because we need money again." I said, "What do you mean again?" And I forgot about it. I said, "All right, well, what is?" And they got it. And then the third year, David, they came in again, right? And I said, "What is this? What are you guys here for? I mean, you're great people, but why?" "Well, we don't have any funding. They don't have permanent funding, so they could be shut out if they had the wrong president." You know, honestly, you could have the wrong president, and you wouldn't get 10 cents. They wouldn't give you anything. And I said, "That's terrible. So you come up here do you like doing it?" "No." And the one gentleman looked at me and said, "We feel like beggars." That was a hell of a statement. You know, I said, "I understand that." And I said, "We can't let this happen." So we worked on it. David Perdue, all of us worked on it. Kelly worked on it. We all worked on it. And frankly, and I have to say, you know, it had to go through the House. And where's Doug? Doug worked on it. Right, Doug? You remember that. That was a hard thing. It wasn't easy. There were people that didn't want to do it. And we got it passed. We got more money than they asked for. I said, "You're going to need more." I'm in the real estate business. I said, "You always need more. Whatever you think you need more." But we got more money than they asked for, and we got it for a period of 10 years, right? So I said, we signed it together, about 42 people. We signed it together. I said, the only bad thing is that I like you people. I won't see you anymore. I won't see you for another 10 years. Let's see, will we be president in 10 years? Only if we add a couple of terms in. Oh, now we have a story. This you're breaking news. I told you he's a dictator. We've been saying he will not give up power. Under no circumstances will he give up power. He intends to serve at least 2 more terms. Oh, that's the big story. You know, you can't joke, because if you joke, they take it away. You know, a lot of times with a little sarcasm and you joke, but you're being serious, and then you start laughing afterwards. But they always cut it before the laugh. They cut it so that they think he's serious. He wants 12 more years. They start shouting now, 12 more years. Thank you. Earlier this year, Biden said that if you don't vote for him, then you ain't black. You know that. And this was very outrageous. This was offensive. In fact, he was very derisive of the black Americans when he very negatively compared them to another group of Americans. It was very terrible, and he did it. Biden believes that all black Americans have to think the same way. That's what it was all about. Today's Democrat Party is run by, he doesn't know black Americans like I do. That I can tell you. Today's Democrat Party is run by out-of-touch liberal hypocrites who stereotype you, disrespect you, and sell you out. They're only good for your 6-month period, 6 months before the election. And then they're very nice and they want your vote, and then they, as you say, I like that better than what I'm saying, they forget all about you. They're gone. They're gone. Biden wants to lecture the country about racial justice when he spent his career hurting black Americans, hurting Hispanic Americans, and forging alliances with pro-segregation Democrat senators. You know that. Racial justice begins with Joe Biden's retirement from public life. So today I'm urging black Americans to walk away from the corrupt, hateful, divisive, and very extreme, and they are going crazy, Democrat Party. On no issue has the Democrat Party more totally failed the black community than public safety. Democrats have run America's inner cities at every level of government for 100 years and even more. Last year, 19 of the top 20 most dangerous cities in America were run by Democrats. The murder rate is higher in Baltimore than in Afghanistan, El Salvador, or Honduras, right? It's higher. Instead of fighting for public safety for these communities, the Democrats are attacking our police and empowering far-left rioters, looters, and anarchists. You know, they are anarchists. The Democrat Party's war on cops has caused black-owned businesses to be burned and black homes and churches to be totally destroyed. Most tragically of all, so many innocent black lives have been cruelly taken from us. People are dying by the thousands in black-on-black crime, and I want it to stop. And people aren't talking about it. They're not talking about it. They're not talking about it. In Chicago, as an example, there are weekends when 60, 70 or more people are shot. This is shot, and many die. How can we allow this to go on? How can we allow this to happen? But they're all Democrat-run cities. Every year, thousands of African Americans are murdered as a result of violent crime, and again, in these Democrat-run monstrosities, the way they run them, it's worse. It's worse than Afghanistan. It's worse than, we're at war. We go to war zones, and we don't lose this many people in war zones. Democrats ignore these American victims, and I won't. And, you know, we have to be asked to come in. We have to be asked to come in. By law, they have to say, please come in. And wherever we've gone in, Minneapolis, we went in, we solved the problem. They should have called us 2 weeks earlier. They would have had a city left, okay? But Seattle, they knew we were coming in. I said, we're going in. We don't care. We're going in. The night before we went in, they left. That was the end of that. And others. I mean, look at Portland. I mean, how bad is Portland? How bad is Portland? And we could solve that one in about a half an hour. A bunch of young anarchists, they live with their parents. In a basement also, they live in a basement. And I'll always support the heroes of law enforcement. We have to, including over 50,000 incredible black police officers who risk their lives every day to keep us all safe. You know, they protect people that they've never met before, and it's very dangerous. They're amazing. Those pushing to defund the police are hurting black communities the most. And as I've always said, when there is police misconduct, the justice system must hold wrongdoers fully responsible and accountable, and they will do that. Politicians supporting mob violence are not allies of the black community. They're causing extraordinary damage, grief, hardship. In recent months, our nation has grieved for the tragic deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery. Our hearts break for their families and for all families who have lost a loved one, especially if you look at this way, so senseless. But we can never allow mob rule. To have safety, to have prosperity, to have everything that you want to have, we must always ensure the rule of law. As you know, we have to. Many of those who are spreading violence in our cities are supporters of an organization called Black Lives Matter, or BLM. It's really hurting the black community. It's hurting the black community. This is an unusual name for an organization whose ideology and tactics are right now destroying many black lives, and whose first phrase was, you remember this, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, referring to our police. That's referring to our police. The stated goal of BLM organization people is to achieve the destruction of the nuclear family, abolish the police, abolish prisons, abolish border security, abolish capitalism, and abolish school choice. That's what their stated goals are. This is not the agenda of the black community. This is the agenda of an extreme socialist, or worse. You know what the other word is. Yeah, Marxist, communist, communist. But this is the extreme socialist left. But beyond that, in my opinion. That's why the founders of the organization call themselves trained Marxists. And yet we have major corporations, out of weakness or fear or whatever reason, donating hundreds of millions of dollars to them. These are fools. These are fools. The big progressive corporations donating to BLM should instead be spending their money helping black families rebuild from the left wing, from these horrible left-wing riots. Wealthy liberal hypocrites want to defund the police in our inner cities while living behind walled compounds. They're walled compounds. It's you got to see the way some of these people live. They live pretty well. You know, the funny thing is that if anything ever happened, they'd be the first to go. You know that, right? Let's go get these people. They're fools. They want to get rid of school choice for black children while sending their own children to the best private schools in the land. They want to open borders, and that's what they want. They want open borders for you, but security for themselves. They want top security, but let's open up the borders. Let's let everybody pour into our country so that you won't have jobs left. You won't have anything left. You won't have, and there's a tremendous public health crisis. You know, we built now over 330 miles of wall, and it will be finished soon. And our numbers on the border are now the best they've been in decades, and it's incredible what's happened. The wall has been incredible. 330 miles, David, that's pretty good. A long way, considering we had a party that didn't want to let us build the wall. You know, they wanted the wall 10 years ago. They really wanted the wall. And as soon as I wanted it, they didn't want it. And I said it last night. We had a tremendous rally last night. We had probably 35,000 people. I said it last night. I said, I made a mistake. I should have said, we will not build a wall. And we would have had funding in about 15 minutes. Instead, I had to win 6 different lawsuits. This was not easy. Crazy Nancy. She's crazy. And you know, do you notice how quiet it is now? Now it's 330 miles. It'll be built first. It'll be completed. We're doing 10 miles a day on average. Think of this. I don't hear anymore about the wall. They don't want to talk about the wall anymore. But the numbers are great. Republicans will always uphold equal justice under the law. We will defend the civil rights of every single American, and we will defend our God-given freedoms, including religious liberty. And the Second Amendment, by the way. And, Second Amendment. Have to save our Second Amendment. I'm the only thing standing between you and me and Second Amendment. I'm standing right. We're not going to be losing our Second Amendment. They're going to get rid of it. You know who they put in charge? Beto. Remember Beto? Beto O'Rourke. That's a Spanish name. He needed the Spanish vote, right? He said, I want Spanish. I said, what about Hispanic? He said, I don't know about that. He knows less about it than perhaps I do. But Beto, remember he had a cover in a terrible magazine. And he said that I was born to run for president. He was hot then. even though he just lost a race to Texas. He was hot, you know, and he said, I was born to run for president. But anybody that says that is a sure loser. Can you imagine if I said that? I said, I was born to run for president. You said, this guy's whacked out. This guy, it's not an easy deal going on over here, I'll tell you. I had a very nice life before. You know that? You sort of read about my life. You knew a lot about my life. I had a great life. What the hell did I do this for, David? What did I do this for, David Perdue? No, I enjoy it. You know why I enjoy it? I love it. Oh, by the way, did you see they just caught the FBI? Did you see the text messages? Oh, it's brutal. One of the guys said, listen, this is really illegal. I want insurance. They bought insurance for these people because they thought they're going to be locked up. We got it. Now they're going crazy. This is the hottest thing right now on the internet, all over the place. Oh boy. They've been looking at me. So essentially then, it was the exact opposite. Okay, and you see Biden's son? He got 3.5. Hunter. Where's Hunter? Remember? Where's Hunter? You know what I do? I call him Where's Hunter. That's his name. Where's Hunter? We made a T-shirt. I was making a speech. I said, where's Hunter? Where is he? I'm looking at this. I was kidding. I said, where's Hunter? The next day it was the biggest selling T-shirt in the history of Where's Hunter? No, Hunter got a check from the wife of the mayor of Moscow for $3.5 million. Would anybody accept whatever he was supposed to do for $3.5 million? There's no job that I can think of. $3.5 million. Now, before Biden became vice president, right? He got nothing. He had no money, no nothing. Got thrown out of the military. He got thrown out. He had no job. Now he's getting checks for $3.5 million from the mayor, the ex-mayor, very substantial person, by the way, of Moscow. So we got it wrong. It wasn't Trump. I have nothing to do. I didn't have a phone call. Now think of it. Let's call Bob Mueller, put him on the case. Thank you. Thank you. He said, let's call Bob Mueller. I stole from him. Hey, I plagiarized from him like Biden. That was very good. He says, let's call Bob Mueller. Bob's a sharp guy. He'll get him. He'll figure it out. How about me? 3 years of investigation, 48 million. They find nothing. A friend of mine, very smart in New York, said, very smart, he said, you must be the most honest person in the world. When 19 geniuses, bad people, but geniuses, plus unlimited law enforcement, 49 FBI agents, 2.5 years, can't find anything, you gotta be the cleanest person in the world. It's true. It's true. But it turned out to be the opposite story. It was them who was dealing with Russia. David, if you guys could start working on that when you get back. Doug, please, if you don't mind. You were so incredible to me, and if you don't mind, think of it. It was the exact opposite, Doug. He's trying to defend us. Please defend the president. Well, it turned out to be the opposite. They were the ones that were dealing with Russia. It was a disinformation campaign. Kelly, start working on that with David, please, okay? I think Monday morning would be okay. Well, we are appointing a Supreme Court justice tomorrow. No, we are. That's a big deal. You know, the Democrats, they don't think we should do it. Okay? Because, you know, we have a lot of time left. You know, it's really January 20th. We have a lot of time left, but they don't think we should do it because it's toward the end of the first term. Well, we got a lot of time left. Now, put them in our shoes. Do you think they'd say, well, I think we should probably not do this? What chance do we have of that, David? Zero, would you say? No, the only difference is they would have gone even crazier. They would have gone totally. They would have been fighting. Let's get it done immediately. They would be working over the weekend. No, they're just they have been not good to deal with. But you know what? When we built this great success, it It started to all come together. Then we got interrupted by China. What they did, they should never have done that. They should remember this. We can never forget it. But it was starting to come together, and it will come together because we're going to have an even greater success, in my opinion, next year. Well, Democrats have tried to silence pastors, and we had some great pastors up here. I watched backstage. I watched those guys, and I said, I don't want to follow them. I don't want to follow them. I was looking for somebody else to speak first. But they were great, weren't they? Really great? You know the truth, I could say they love you, they love the country. They at least like me, because you know what? If they didn't, they couldn't do what they just did. They did it from the heart, didn't they? Really. I watched that. I won't forget it either. I'm never going to forget it. I'm not forgetting. I don't forget things. Thank you. I don't forget things. Where are the pastors that got up? Where are they? Where are they? Where are those guys? Man, oh man. I'll never follow you again. At least we had Herschel in between, right? And Herschel didn't like it either. That was really great. Thank you both. Thank you all very much. That was beautiful. That was from the heart, and we appreciate it. We won't forget. We won't forget. I will fiercely defend the vital role of black churches in America. Okay? Joe Biden and the Democrats say that Black Lives Matter, but they do not protect the most vulnerable black lives of all, unborn children. They support the unlimited abortion of black children right up until the 9th month of pregnancy. And if you look at this governor of Virginia, beyond, I had not heard that, but if you look at the governor of Virginia, he said the baby is born, and then they start to talk. I said, wait a minute, that's not abortion. That's not abortion. You know what that is? No, it's I call it execution. Really. You've seen that, right? I had not heard that. You hear late-term abortion. You never heard that. But the governor of Virginia, the one that thinks he's Michael Jackson, the one whose wife stopped him from trying to imitate Michael Jackson moonwalking. Now, one thing we know, he's not going to be Michael. There's nobody that can moonwalk like Michael. He got very lucky. That would have been the end if he would have done that one. But the Democrats champion Planned Parenthood, an organization founded on racism that continues to target the black community. In the Republican Party, we believe in protecting all black lives, including the unborn. We believe that every child of every race, born and unborn, is made in the holy image of God. Republicans believe that all human life is sacred. At no time before has there been a clearer choice between two parties, two visions, two philosophies, two agendas for the future. Now, you know that. There's never been a difference like this. Our opponents want our children to grow up in a socialist nation that will mean less opportunity, less prosperity, less safety, and less hope for the future. The Democrat Party's message to your children is that their path is doomed and that their country is evil. My message to every child in America is the exact opposite. I want our children to know that they are part of the most exciting and incredible adventure in human history. No matter where your family comes from, no matter your background, in America, anyone can rise. Democrats divide our country by race. Republicans unite Americans through our shared bonds of citizenship. You see it here. This glorious country is the shared heritage of all Americans. In every generation, black patriots poured out their blood, sweat, heart, and soul to defend American liberty and to realize our founding promise that we are all made equal by the hand of Almighty God. African American leaders lifted up the conscience of our nation to end slavery and segregation and secure your civil rights. Black heroes like Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Booker T. Washington, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and Thurgood Marshall helped build the most just, noble, free, and exceptional nation on earth. Now, with the help of a new generation of black patriots, and there some of them are right now. We will reach new heights of glory and greatness. We will and you know this, we are going to revitalize our cities. It's in the process. We will bring more jobs and factories back to our communities. We will give every single child a chance to reach their full God-given potential. We will build the most inclusive society, the most successful economy, and the most inspiring future the world has ever seen. And we will do it for citizens of every background, every race, religion, color, and creed. Together we made unbelievable progress and achieved once unimaginable success. Nobody thought it was possible. And with your support, your vote, and your voice, the best is yet to come. So this has been a great honor for me. I have a lot of friends in the audience, and I just want to thank you very much. God bless you. God bless America. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us here at Golden State Times. If you guys enjoyed our coverage, make sure you give it a thumbs up and you share it on social media. And we hope to see you guys here later on today for President Trump's rally being streamed live here at Golden State Times. All right, folks, thank you so much for the few that just stayed. I don't know why people leave, but they do. But it only happens to this channel. So thank you so much to everyone that stayed for President Trump's speech. You guys are awesome, and I hope to see you guys here later on today for President Trump's rally. I'm gonna go rest a little bit because I haven't slept at all. President Trump doesn't believe in sleep. So I'm gonna go rest for a little bit and get ready for the rally coming later on today.